everybody. What is going on, everybody? My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning into Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Early voting has begun in America. We have officially entered election season. I hate the fact that we even have to call it that, but alas, that is what it is, election season, as early voting has begun in the state of Virginia with absentee ballots going out in several other states. It is time. If you have been on the sidelines, it is time to get your rear in gear. It is time to get out there and harvest those ballots. It is time to start pushing. If you have not begun pushing yet, my question to you is, why the hell not? Why the hell not? We're going to be talking about early voting today. We're going to be talking about whether or not it's good, whether or not it's bad, whether it's up, whether it's down. We're going to talk about it all. We're probably going to disagree. Also, we are going to make fun of some racists. We're going to make fun of Sonny Hostin. We're going to make fun of Skip Bayless. For my sports fans out there, you know that Skip Bayless has been one of the worst sports commentators in history ever. But it turns out he's also an absolute racist. And we're going to talk about somebody else who I have had on the show. I've had the pleasure of interviewing. An absolute savage from the great state of South Carolina, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who, turns out, spoiler alert, if you call someone racist on TV, you probably shouldn't hit on them in text messages afterwards. Nancy Mace drops the hammer on that race grifter, Michael Eric Dyson. Before we get started, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Where is my live chat? There it is. How are we doing, everybody? Let's keep rocking and rolling here. I'm so excited. I hope you guys got a chance. If you didn't get a chance to see the show yesterday and Mike Crispy's hour this morning, go back and watch it. We had Nick Sorter on the show. Nick is a good friend of mine. He is an on-the-ground reporter. He has been everywhere. He's been in East Palestine, Ohio. He was in Maui for like 3 months. Covering the fires out there. I had the pleasure of being with him in Chicago for the DNC protest, and Nick was out here with me and Chad Caton, a bunch of other people for the booming Donald Trump rally we had here on Long Island. I'm so happy that everybody was so. Chat, let me know. Were you at the Trump rally at the Nassau Coliseum? Let me know in the chat if you were there. Let's get rocking and rolling here, guys. The Trump rally was great. If you guys didn't see it, I think every show has played it at this point. I don't know where you would be if you hadn't seen it. But quick update on our boy Liam. Quick update on Liam. He got to meet Donald Trump at the rally on Long Island. Let me pull that video real quick. It was unbelievable. I was in the room when Liam got to meet President Trump. It was let's just say people were cutting up onions while we were in that room. He was in complete and total shock. Here is the Liam update, everybody, for all of you. Let's pop this up. Where is it?
I'm supposed to be in that stage, but that doesn't matter. Because I got you the best president you'll ever have. This is the best president you'll ever have. How are you, Bob? Hi, Mom. Okay, honey, this is yours. And in there is real good stuff. Okay? So beautiful. Thank you. See, look at that. Look at these great photographers. And we're going to have that picture of our life, okay? You and I. Is you going to come out and watch me?
Of course.
Because I left the stage in order to come and say hello there.
How special you are.
Okay, honey? So beautiful. So you take care of Mom and Dad? Is that your sister, right?
Takes care of us a lot of great hair.
So why don't you do this? Take care of yourselves. Okay, I'm going to go right after
Say thank you.
Take care of yourself, honey, okay? I wish I looked like that. If I looked like that, I'd be president.
It was absolutely amazing. I want to thank everybody who shared it out. That video alone has 3.6 million views. Again, Liam has taken over the world. So to everybody who shared that video out, thank you all so much. It was an incredible moment to be in the room with the president. Look, I don't see Kamala Harris doing that. I don't see Kamala Harris doing that. But let's jump right into the news, everybody. Virginia's in-person early voting begins today. People in America have already started voting, which, let's just be clear, I don't know why. I don't know why we need 45 days to go and vote early, but that's the way the Commonwealth of Virginia does it. Also, Arkansas, Idaho, Minnesota, South Dakota, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, Country Road, Take Me Home, and Wyoming make absentee ballots available. The election season is now in full swing this Friday, according to Fox News, as Virginia becomes the first state to allow in-person early voting for the 2024 cycle. 6 other states, which I just named, I won't sing the song again, make absentee ballots available with some restrictions. 2 competitive states begin voting today, beginning with Minnesota. The Midwestern state has voted Democrat in every election since 1972, but with a higher proportion of white working-class voters and deep red rural pockets, the result has remained within competitive margins every cycle. Biden only won it by 7 in 2020. The president's weakness put this state in touch with a touch more in play through the middle of the year. The same time the Trump campaign announced they were opening more field offices there. But Harris re-energized Democrats and Minnesota's Waltz as her running mate. The state is likely to remain in Democratic hands. Key down ballot races. This is what I want to talk about. Why early voting matters. Well, we'll get to why early voting matters. But the down ballot races people are looking at. Minnesota's 2nd congressional district. Angie Craig has held this Twin Cities district since 19. This cycle, she will face a Marine and former federal prosecutor, Joe Tirab. It's the inclusion of the rural areas in southwest Minnesota that make this race competitive. Also, Virginia, too, was one of the closely watched races in 2020 in a Republican flip. Congresswoman Jen Keegans faces Navy veteran and small businesswoman Missy Cotter Samal. This time in the military-heavy district, which includes Virginia Beach. This is a lean R, of course, a lean R race, according to the power rankings. And Virginia 7th with Abigail Spanberger. She is in a very, very, very tight race there. She had to fend off Eugene Vindman, the brother of Alexander Vindman and the brother-in-law of the woman who celebrated Donald Trump's shooting, that ugly lady. So these are going to be key races. Abigail Spanberger in Virginia is the one who was very famously caught on not a hot mic, but in a Democratic session telling the remainder of the Democratic caucus, stop talking about defunding the police. You're killing us. Of course, many of them didn't listen. Cori Bush, what are you doing these days? So, as we said, early voting starts in Virginia and Minnesota. Absentee ballots going out in many of the other states. Now, there's long been a controversy here on whether or not early voting is good, whether or not early voting is bad. Look, do I wish that we lived in a world where we had election day? Yeah, I do. However, I plan on playing by the same rules as everyone else. If you are a Virginian and you are a Republican, you have 43 days to vote. Now, many Republicans will wait until Election Day. Makes sense. But on Election Day, you get a flat tire, your kid is sick, you get stuck at work, you're in traffic, car accident, an alien craft comes down and lands right in the middle of your town. Maybe you can't get to the voting booth, okay? This is why I'm telling people that voting early is necessary. Bank your vote. Bank your vote, and on Election Day, go and volunteer for a campaign. Someone will take you. I can promise you that. Okay? Bank your vote. Here on Long Island, we had a special election for the seat that George Santos had. Republicans waited until Election Day. Democrats voted for a couple of weeks. We had an out-of-season snowstorm on Election Day that barricaded many Republican voters in their homes. Democrat Tom Suozzi won the seat. I'm not saying that you don't believe voting is important and you're not going to crawl over broken glass in order to get to that voting booth. What I'm saying is sometimes life happens. Before we started having early voting in this country, national elections sometimes came down to whether or not it was raining in Cincinnati. My advice to you would be to find low propensity voters. You know who they are in your family, in your friends group. You're all hanging out. You're talking, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you go out to dinner, whatever. Hey, do you normally vote? Nah, I never vote. Oh, really? Well, why don't we take a ride on down to the early voting polling place? Come on, it takes like 2 seconds. That's how you vote more than once. That's how you expand the electorate. And that is how we flip a state like Virginia. Because according to recent polling from the University of Mary Washington, in the two-way race, Kamala Harris is up on Donald Trump by 2 points. By 2 points. And with a full field with Kennedy on the ballot, she's only up by 1. Very winnable for Republicans. It is very, very, very hard to draw a map that sees Democrats winning if Virginia flips. We know it's not out of the realm of possibility. They have a Republican governor in Glenn Youngkin. So it's not like we're talking about New York here. We're not talking about California. Virginia is a winnable seat if we do the groundwork. And you know on this show, I will repeatedly and for all time preach involvement, preach getting involved, preach doing your civic duty. Because it's up to each and every one of us. It is up to each and every one of us. National polling out at the moment has Kamala Harris +2 on Donald Trump. And you've long heard me say that if Kamala Harris is up 2, Donald Trump wins when it comes in terms of the popular vote. In Ohio, Donald Trump is up 9. But Sherrod Brown, the Senate incumbent, is up 4 on Bernie Moreno. If you're in Ohio, there's a little bit more you can do. In some of the swing states, according to Morning Consult, much of the polling has Donald Trump within the margin of error. In Nevada, in North Carolina, Donald Trump is tied. Arizona, Harris is up 1. Florida, things look pretty rough there. It is important to get out and do what needs to be done. As I said, these things are not out of the realm of possibility, but it is up to each and every one of us to get that job done. And as we go into the early voting season, my question for you is, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't tell me you're posting things on Facebook, because that doesn't translate to votes. You got to get out, you got to get in the streets, you got to knock doors for the candidate you like. Because some of us here in New York are in a wee bit of trouble with the breaking news that just came out. Before we get to that, guys, try Armor Colostrum.
The biggest benefit, honestly, has been with my skin. Skin was more hydrated, more radiant.
This is the best superfood that you could take.
It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance.
My hair has gotten so much thicker ever since taking this.
I used to have a probiotic, a green juice that replaced it all with this Armor Colostrum. It is amazing.
You gotta take it.
If you want to try it, try armor.com.
Guys, go to tryarmor.com/LFATV. That is tryarmor.com/LFATV for 15% off and free shipping, guys. It is the super food formula. Start feeling better today. Go to tryarmor.com/LFA. What's going on? LFATV, excuse me, /LFATV. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Share it out all over the place. Tomorrow, for my Long Islanders, I will be at the New Hyde Park Street Fair registering voters, getting people engaged. So anybody who is in New York, on Long Island, or in Queens, come on out, say hello. I'll be at the New Hyde Park Street Fair all day. We are Team No Sleep over here. What is happening? What is going on, everybody? Bansky Mike, how are you? Arrow Pink, what's happening? Vintage Lulu Gals, very nice meeting you in New Jersey the other day. Hello, hello. Sharon, what's happening? AC Knight, hello. Hello, Siobhan, how are you? Want to say hello to everybody watching there over on Facebook. Janet, how are you? Once again, guys, I will be at the New Hyde Park Street Fair this weekend. Tomorrow, I'll be there tomorrow. Yep, I'll be there all day tomorrow. Come on down, say hello, giddy up, let's go. So, some of us in New York have just received some bad news on the election front. It turns out Donald Trump's top legal foe has been handed unprecedented election power ahead of November. This is terrifying. A new requirement in New York that will take effect this weekend is set to give Democratic New York Attorney General Letitia James widespread power over the state's election process. A New York election attorney said, quote, "Nobody is really talking about it or what big effect it's going to have," election lawyer Joseph T. Burns told Fox News Digital in an interview this week. But it's interesting. Because, look, there's a lot of bad stuff that happens in New York when it comes to elections and everything else. But this strikes me as being particularly bad. And it's certainly quite a power grab by the Attorney General itself. Under the John Lewis Voting Rights Act of New York, which Kathy Hochul signed into law in 2022, a requirement in the law is set to take effect on Sunday. The new law requires certain jurisdictions in the Empire State to request pre-clearance from the Attorney General or a designated court to make election-related decisions, which range from changing the hours of early voting to culling decreased residents from the voter list, Burns said. Burns published an op-ed in the New York Post this week and warned that the new law hands Letitia James unprecedented power over the election process, and in some of the most hotly contested congressional districts in the nation, including those on Long Island and in the Hudson Valley. The upcoming requirement has flown under the radar, but nobody is talking about it, and it's pretty remarkable. The new law upends the system of constitutional mandate bipartisan election administration that has served as New York voters able for generations, Burns wrote in his op-ed. The law requires certain counties, cities, towns, villages, and school districts to get, quote, the blessing of the Attorney General or a designated court before making any voting-related changes or election-related moves. The new rule covers massive jurisdictions like New York City and 9 counties and 9 different counties, including the ones on Long Island. Oh, I know why. They said counties, they meant towns. Come on, guys. The jurisdictions are determined by a handful of factors, including arrest rate for residents of protected classes and whether the jurisdiction committed civil rights or voting rights violations in the last 25 years. What the hell does that even mean? Burns, who has a background in Republican politics and election legal issues, told Fox News Digital there are 4 triggers that label a jurisdiction a covered entity. Any political subdivision within the previous 25 years has become subject to a court or government-enforced action based on finding of any violation of this title, the Federal Voting Rights Act, the 15th Amendment to the United States, a voting-related violation of the 14th Amendment, Burns said, reading from the 2023 document. Burns gave an example. Erie County, which is considered a covered entity under the new rules when the jurisdiction was hit with a court order involving the 14th Amendment a decade ago. You'd think, wow, this sounds really sinister. He said, a 2014 court order, they're probably doing something that disenfranchises a minority voter, right? It's a 14th Amendment violation. That's what it sounds like to me. But no, not at all. What happened was the county executive and the county legislature couldn't agree on a redistricting plan, Burns said. Something like that would put a local governance under the preclearance. Which, if you know anything about Long Island politics, you know that our maps have been redrawn like 24 times. That means Letitia James will be in complete and utter control of our elections. That is absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Brian Shapiro, why don't you go lose some more hair over it? There's an idiot commenting on Twitter. Be gone with him. Be gone with you, peasant. Be gone with you. So in just a minute, guys, we're going to be talking about some race grifters because, you know, they just come in so many different ways. Racists in the media who think that someone cares what they have to say. We'll get to that in 1 minute. Before we do that, guys, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog
Whoa,
beds.
whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off. That I do want to get to. First, we got to talk about someone named Sunny Hostin. Sunny Hostin, who happens to be the most miserable woman on the planet over there on The View. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, there's been some interactions between Brittany Mahomes and Donald Trump social media profiles. Well, Sunny Hostin on The View decided that she was going to give Brittany Mahomes a little bit of a scolding because, you know, Brittany Mahomes has biracial children. Patrick Mahomes is, of course, half black. I guess that would make her kids a quarter black. Not really the point. But only racists care about these things. And Sunny Hostin, over on The View, is really upset that Brittany Mahomes had the audacity to like one of Donald Trump's Instagram posts. Because, you know, that's what matters most in this world. Here's Sunny Hostin.
Since she is in an interracial marriage, she should have known that to support a racist is problematic. Her children are biracial, and her family is one of the families that in the 70s could not have lived in any of Donald Trump's buildings. So it just seems to me that maybe she's just not that politically savvy.
A gaggle of 5 of the stupidest women on the planet. See, Brittany Mahomes should have known better because 50 years ago, Donald Trump once got sued for something he didn't do. And Brittany Mahomes, being, 27, should have known that. You see, that makes Brittany Mahomes a bad mother. That makes Brittany Mahomes a bad mother. These people have absolutely no shame whatsoever. But, of course, there has got to be one worse. There's always one worse than the people over on The View. For all my sports fans out there, I want to make sure we get this one out there. Skip Bayless. You guys know Skip Bayless. He was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith for a number of years, where he spent 10 years being beaten up by Stephen A. Smith. Well, Skip Bayless says that he felt guilty. You ready for this? Now, I know some of you don't care about sports, which is okay. I'm not asking you to care about sports. But Skip Bayless decided that he wasn't going to give a professional athlete credit because she was white, and that might fuel the white power movement. You ready for this one? Check this out.
I started watching the WNBA much more closely than I ever had, and I started to think, deep down in my psyche, wait a second, she's really good. But I'll be the first to admit, I felt guilty saying so on TV or on social media. I did not want to look like this red state white guy cheering for this red state white girl. Our country feels split enough racially already. I didn't want to pour gasoline on that fire. Maybe I was wrong about this, but Caitlin Clark started to feel like, to me, some sort of new right-wing symbol. White woman dominating the game, dominated by black men and women for years and years. I could almost hear some people thinking, white power, baby.
So he chose to ignore the quality of a basketball player based on her race because it might make white people happy. I'm not really sure there, but there's a reason why he's no longer on television. Wait, is Skip Bayless still on television? Who really knows? I think he's on Fox Sports now. I guess he's got his own little podcast. That one. But imagine that. Imagine being a sports commentator and not wanting to commentate on sports accurately because you are so brainwashed and so insane that you think because Caitlin Clark happens to be white and happens to play in Indiana, that what? The Ku Klux Klan is suddenly going to rise up and start what? Showing up at the Indiana Fever game? Nobody goes to the Indiana Fever game, okay? Yes, there's been a spike in attendance for games that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese play. I know that. But for Skip Bayless to even say that out loud, now I know why Charles Barkley wants to punch him in the face. Which Charles has said repeatedly. Charles may be a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, but he's funny as hell. Now I'm starting to understand why he may want to beat him. Violence is never the answer. Except when it is. Guys, hit the thumbs up button because now we are going to talk about Nancy Mace, okay? We are going to talk about Congresswoman Nancy Mace. And if there's anybody watching the show right now, this would be the part that I would put on. So, a while ago, you guys will remember, Congresswoman Nancy Mace went on a CNN panel, which is always a terrible idea, and she was sat next to a man by the name of Michael Eric Dyson, who is a professor at Vanderbilt University, and he is one of the most successful race hustlers in America. I mean, he is like just below Al Sharpton, but like just above Don Lemon. One of the biggest race hustlers in America. Nancy Mace was spitting facts and throwing them out there at him. So naturally, Michael Eric Dyson called her a racist on television because he felt she was mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name. Now, obviously, that is a ridiculous notion. Mispronouncing someone's name doesn't make you racist, number one. Number two, people say it like 9 different ways. Al Sharpton calls her Kamala, which I'm pretty sure is a mispronunciation, but you can't call him racist because, you know, he attacked Jews in New York, and, you know, there was that Tawana Brawley thing that never really happened. I think he's still out there looking for the guys who jumped Jesse Smollett, so you can't call Al Sharpton racist. But Michael Eric Dyson thought he was going to use his $4 worth of intellectual vigor to try to make Nancy Mace look stupid. Here was that video.
That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
You are
it.
intending that I
Your
am
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that is
part and parcel
offensive.
of a tradition of disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's
why can't you just?
offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm
You
telling
are.
you what the practice is
You
racist.
are. You absolutely
Let
are.
me get
Disrespecting. No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
White women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25
They
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25
and
years ago,
respected
I
your
became
humanity.
the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military.
Michael Eric Dyson, who thinks that if you talk really fast, that makes you some kind of an intellectual. But of course, he's nothing more than a race hustler. Now, he seemed very, very, very upset with Congresswoman Nancy Mace after that. He all but exactly called her a racist in real time. Well, as they would say on Impractical Jokers, it turns out after that interview, things got a little bit spicier. Turns out Michael Eric Dyson, for all of his blustering about what a bad person Nancy Mace was, it turns out he wanted to get his photograph taken with her. Not only did he want to get his photograph taken with her, but he thought he would slide into those DMs. Shh, don't tell anybody, but we look great together. She laughs at him naturally. Well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that. Ugh. So first off, not only is Michael Eric Dyson a race hustler, but he has no game whatsoever. None at all. He is an absolute disgrace to normal intellectuals out there that want to have an actual conversation. An absolute disgrace. Cornelius Vanderbilt would be rolling over in his grave if he knew that that man was representing the university he founded. But considering FAFO, you can't mess with Nancy Mace, she decided that she was going to put this little nugget into the congressional record so it will last for all time.
I would like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me a racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
objection. Then the guy says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're going to have that standard, you got to hold it to both sides, not just one or the other.
Yeah. So that happened. So, Michael Eric Dyson, you $3 intellectual, you think using big words makes you sound smart when really the rest of us are just laughing at you. Maybe don't call somebody a racist live on television and then hit on them in their text messages immediately following it. And if you're gonna do that, definitely don't do it to Nancy Mace, okay? I've said it before. Look, I've interviewed her. She's very nice, but I have no shame in saying this. I am absolutely terrified of her. Absolutely terrified of her. So, turns out Michael Eric Dyson, now until the end of time, anytime somebody wants to beat you, all they've got to do is remind you that Nancy Mace shut you down in a congressional hearing. That's really funny. And it just shows you how fake these people are, okay? He was so appalled, so appalled that she mispronounced Kamala Harris's name on purpose because that is the history of denying black women's humanity, or whatever the hell he said. He was so appalled that he tried to slide into her DMs right after the show. Michael Eric Dyson, you are an absolute fraud. I don't know what person would pay you to teach their children you are a stain on the American culture, and I think people should stop having you on television. Look, Michael Eric Dyson is proof that having a PhD doesn't make you smart. Before Joe Biden was that proof. Now we got Michael Eric Dyson. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling here, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place on this lovely Friday afternoon. Once again, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That is your home base, your landing pad for all things LFA-TV related. Make sure you check out Jeremy Harrell's shop over there, guys. That's the best way to support the network. You can become a monthly donor over there at lfatv.us. This is user-generated content, and we can't do it without your help. We can't do it without your help. So, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Joe Spag says Nancy Mace is hot. I can neither confirm nor deny, but I will confirm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Natalie, what's going on? How are you? Dawn, how are you? Masshole Patriot, still my favorite Rumble name on here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bob R., what is happening? Let's see, who else we got in here? Who did I miss? Helen, how are you? Sly, what's going on? Leah, how are you? Tick Pickin', I like that one. His racism is a business. He just plays a role, like all of them. You know what? That is actually a great way of putting it. That is actually a great way of putting it. Puke, then dry heave. That's really funny. That's actually hilarious. CQ, how are you? Sly, I got your card. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Absolutely. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here, guys, because we've got more on Kamala Harris as we move into this election cycle. She sat down with Oprah for no reason that I can understand at all. Usually they go down, Goose, you got your stuff. Very good, very good. Kamala Harris sat down with Oprah, which is usually a good way of saying that you are worried about this election because you have to pander to somebody who was famous 30 years ago. Well, Kamala Harris sat down with Oprah and gave one of the weirdest interviews I have ever seen for a couple of reasons. Number one, for some reason, half of the audience were on, like, computer screens. I don't know why they couldn't fill a room. I guess Oprah's having a hard time doing that. But then number two, Kamala Harris goes on, like, a minute-long diatribe, and I don't know what she says. I don't know what this sentence is. Maybe you guys can let me know.
We are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are.
I don't know what that says. I don't know what she said. She thinks that if you just move words together in a sentence, that eventually you will come up with meaning. But every time Kamala Harris does any sort of interview, she must do the sort of nonsense word salad, because we know that she can't run on the physical policies. In fact, there's a new report coming out from the House Homeland Security Committee that has revealed, are you guys ready for this? 85% of those who crossed the border illegally were released into the United States. This comes as the Biden-Harris administration, this is from the Post Millennial, has reportedly sought to cut federal detention space, and those immigrants within the United States for extended periods are rarely removed. The report noted that by 2022, the Biden-Harris administration had quietly ended the practice of detaining immigrant families altogether. Dustin, I guess that's Cloud, the deputy chief patrol agent for the Border Patrol's Yuma sector, told the committee during an official transcribed interview September of 2023 that 65 to 70% of encounters in his sector had ended in release since January of 2021. The report also stated in January that Alejandro Mayorkas had admitted that the then current release rate for illegal immigrants caught at the southern border was above 80%. In March of 2023, a federal judge wrote in a ruling striking down a release policy of Mayorkas. Quote, the evidence established that in late January to early February of 2021, the Department of Homeland Security made a discrete change in detention policy from the release only if there's a compelling reason to release unless there is a compelling reason not to. This radical shift in the statement of illegal immigrants, was clear from the start. The report states. The report later went on to say, it is important to note that the Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA, mandates any inadmissible alien to the United States to be detained from the moment they are encountered until the moment they are removed or found to have a lawful basis to remain in the country. Instead of taking steps to meaningfully comply with this mandate, as previous administrations have, Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas devised and implemented a comprehensive and unlawful agenda of mass catch and release, which has led to the release of millions of inadmissible aliens into American communities. The committee states that undermining the law ensures that illegal aliens will almost never be removed, noting that DHS data has revealed that 82% of illegal immigrants, neither expelled nor repatriated directly by CBP nor continuously detained by ICE, remain in the United States years later. Those illegal immigrants not removed from the country after 12 months are rarely repatriated after that. Well, I hate to break this to you, but you're all going home. You're all going home. And many people are like, Kev, how can you logistically deport 15 million people? And you're right. It's going to be hard. So why don't we set that as the goal and see how close we can get? Why don't we start with the criminals? Why don't we start with the terrorists? Why don't we start with the fact that the people that can't speak English? That would be a good way to do it. A friend of mine is a teacher at a middle school in Queens, New York. And he was telling me the other day, now that all the kids are back in school, that, it was always tough in New York. Always been a multicultural area, people speaking different languages. But in New York, you could pretty much get around as a teacher. Maybe you'd have 1-2 kids in class who spoke Spanish. You'd work with them. They'd have a translator there. Okay. He told me that one of the kids in his class speaks Pashto. You know where they speak Pashto? In Afghanistan. And he's sitting to himself going, how the hell am I supposed to teach this kid? How many Pashto interpreters do you think the New York City Department of Education has on hand just to follow this kid around all day and translate every single lesson into Pashto? That's not normal. Also, how the hell did he get here? That's a real question, but you're not allowed to ask those questions. No. Because if you do, you're a bad person. What makes you a good person, though, is if you just pass illegal immigrants through school instead of failing them for failing the tests that they obviously can't read because it's not in English. But we'll get to that in 1 second. Before we do that, guys, look, you did not vote for this recession, but you are certainly paying for it. As those bills stack up, at the gas pump and at the grocery store, you are seeing your money go less and less far every single month. And I know that the financial stress is absolutely killing you. Well, the solution is donewithdebt.com. Unlike others, donewithdebt.com has created new and aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done with Debt stands between you and your bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest rates, and stop all those costly penalties. They have put a plan together to put more money in your pocket month one and every month until your debt is gone. And the best news is donewithdebt.com is currently taking on new clients. But you got to hurry because some of their debt strategies are time sensitive, guys. Again, these are time sensitive debt strategies. So go to donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054. That is 1-888-322-1054. Or go to donewithdebt.com. That is donewithdebt.com. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. We're going to be talking about Chicago in just 1 second. We're talking about Chicago in 1 second. Before we do, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. So apparently, if you are a Chicago-based teacher, you are now being incentivized to give illegal immigrants passing grades instead of actually grading them on their ability to do, like, American history. Why would they do that? In a shocking report from the Daily Wire, multiple teachers at Chicago public schools say administrators told them to give illegal migrant students passing grades last year. Several elementary school teachers told WGN Radio, I think that's the radio station the Cubs play on, that they were instructed by school administrators to give migrant students a grade of 70 in every subject and approve their move up to the next grade, even if the child demonstrated severe academic deficiencies. Complicating matters, none of the middle school students in these teachers' classes spoke any English, and the teachers spoke no Spanish. The school did not offer classes to teach English as a second language. Last month, the Chicago Public School CEO, Pedro Martinez, could that really be his name? Assured migrant students were held to the same standards as Chicago's American students. However, Chicago Public School spokesperson later acknowledged to WGN Radio that the school district guidelines for moving students up to the next grade are modified to serve the specialized needs of English language learners. English language learners. That's an interesting way of putting it. Nearly 50,000 illegal immigrants have arrived by bus in Chicago from Texas since 2022. The city is currently paying to shelter about 13,000 newly arrived illegal immigrants. The sudden influx has strained the city's finances and caused the city leaders to scramble for space to shelter the new arrivals. For months, the city debated how to keep migrants warm in the cold winters. That's another thing we got to start talking about. I know we are just entering the fall. But very soon, here in the Empire State, not for nothing, it's going to start getting cold again. Where are you putting these people? We're running out of hotel rooms. And it's even colder in Chicago. If you've ever been to a Chicago winter, it is like the coldest place on earth. There's penguins walking down the damn street. That's how cold it gets in Chicago. Wouldn't go to a Bears game at Soldier Field if you paid me, because I like to be warm. Many people are angry about the lack of resources in the community. Richard Wallace, a community organizer who's working on the issue, people are angry about joblessness. People are angry about the cost of living skyrocketing. Meanwhile, it's not just the migrant students who are struggling. American students in Illinois and across the country continue to struggle with learning loss after the pandemic forced them out of school and into remote learning for absolutely no reason whatsoever, not even a little bit of a reason. Only about a fourth of Illinois public school students are back to pre-pandemic performance levels in English language arts. So even the American kids can't speak English properly. Even the American kids don't know how to use a comma. But they're just pushing these kids through. There is almost no point to public education in this country anymore. It's not even hard to graduate high school. All you got to do is be able to spell the word cat. It's terrifying. But this is what we continue to deal with. Democrats will never face the issue. Democrats will never face any of the issues. However, what they will do is continue to give sweetheart plea deals to wildly violent people in places like Portland. We'll get to that in 1 second. Before we do that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Check out the shop. That is the best way to support this movement and everything we've got going on over here. Guys, we get new stuff every day. We got Trump lawn signs. We got your Trump Vance flags. Get them while the getting's good. Get them real quick so I can make sure they're at your house as soon as humanly possible. Guys, go to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Look, just check out the website. You'll love some of the stuff we've got over there. Check it out. That's the best way to support this show. And while you're there, hit that donate button at the very top. Hit that donate button at the very top. Also, guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place, wherever you are watching. Tag a friend. Giddy up. Let's go. Also, real quick, once again, for our local base, October 5th will be our Rally to Montauk. So if you guys are on the Facebook page you're watching right now, make sure you check out that event. October 5th, all the way to Montauk. Share it out. Invite some friends so that they know it's happening as well. Once again, I'll be at the New Hyde Park Street Fair tomorrow, registering voters. We are Team No Sleep here. Anybody that wants to come out and say hello, that's the New Hyde Park Street Fair. Can't wait. Giddy up. Let's go. So as I said, we're going to wrap the show up in a minute because, but before we do that, I got to show you this. This is wild. Apparently, there's a man in Portland known as the Zombie. The Zombie. Well, he was photographed in his mugshot smiling with blood all over his face after he bit off a part of a person's face. The victim's injuries were reportedly so severe that emergency respondents were able to see the elderly victim's skull. He ended up getting a sweetheart plea deal from the people over in Portland. An Oregon judge has sentenced former Oberlin College student who bit off an elderly man's ear and part of his face in a zombie-esque attack at the Grisham train station last year to 3 years in jail. The district attorney, Mike Schmidt, handed this sweetheart deal, which included a guilty plea to a single second-degree count of attempted assault in exchange for a reduced sentence. The 78-year-old victim sustained injuries, who sustained serious injuries in the attack, later died of pneumonia. The attacker, Corin Kramer, 27, was originally from New Jersey and was sentenced on Wednesday in a Portland court. Both the prosecution and the defense said that Kramer's diagnosed schizophrenia attributed to the January 23 attack. Check out this mugshot. You ready for this? Just in case you guys need something to disrupt your lunch. There we go. I don't know. You know how, sometimes they have faces of Walmart, faces of meth? This is a face of Portland. Absolutely awful. 3 years in jail. He bit off an old man's face. Can't make this stuff up, guys. Can't make it up. Guys, we're going to check out for the weekend. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Once again, come on down. New Hyde Park Street Fair tomorrow. Giddy up. Let's go. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. I want to say hello to everybody I didn't get to say hello to at the Trump rally in Uniondale a couple of days ago. I know I saw a lot of you there. Hello. But until we come back on Monday, guys, make sure you stay tuned. Matter of Fact is coming up next. And until Monday, everybody, stay loud.